guys like my lobster scarf. Actually, it's a vintage tablecloth, one of my favorites, handed down by my mother, of course. Today, I'm going to show you how I give old vintage linens a whole fresh new look. If you go to flea markets and garage sales and antique malls, one of the things you see in abundance, and something that I always seem to pass over, are those piles and piles of vintage linens and tablecloths. And a lot of the stains just won't come out with regular bleach. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with the tablecloths. They are made usually from the best cottons and the best linens. Here are a stash of my, of course, tablecloths that my mother had saved and collected over the years and that she gave to me because of the 4 daughters that she has. I'm the only one that likes all the vintage stuff. When you go shop for these linens, what stops you in your tracks are all of the kind of the yellowing. I don't know how to get those out. They've been washed several times, but these things, they do stop you from buying any of these vintage linens. I wanted to find a way to photo transfer some really cool hand-drawn plates, hand-drawn food, hand-drawn forks and knives as sort of a place setting on these vintage tablecloths, strategically in the areas where there's some stains. So these t-shirt transfer papers are to be used with an inkjet printer, which most of us have at home. But I'm going to show you how to eliminate using a printer altogether. You can draw your design directly onto the front of the transfer paper. You don't need a printer at all, and you can use any kind of pen. I happen to use a regular Sharpie. This beautiful blue tablecloth reminded me of something for maybe a tea table with beautiful desserts on it. So I am going to make the centerpiece a hand-drawn cake. And what's great about this transfer paper is you can literally see your image through the paper, and it's easy to trace any kind of artwork onto your t-shirt transfer paper. Make sure and cut out your image as close to the black line as possible, and you are ready to transfer onto the fabric. Use a iron set on the highest heat setting without any steam. Peel off the transfer paper really slowly, and if you feel any resistance, that usually means that the ink hasn't fully transferred. So just apply a little bit more heat, let it sit for a second because it's going to be hot, and then peel as you go. We've got the cake going on in the middle, and remember, I'm trying to cover up stains. And there are a couple stains along this area, so I thought that I would come up with the idea of a dessert plate, but then right where I wanted to put the dessert plate, there was already an embroidery applique. So the plate will be open in the middle to accommodate for the embroidery that's already here, and it'll look like it's part of the dessert plate. So I've already put down 2 of them. And there's going to be a total of 4. And I've got that lined up. I'm just going to take my hot iron. Depending on how large the image is, I'm pressing down the iron between 30 to 45 seconds. Here is another tip. If you feel like the image has not transferred completely or you made a mistake, and since I'm just using black, you can also use a black fabric pen to fill in some of the blank spaces. But I remember reading an article about homemade transfer online, and they were saying that's the beauty of the handmade feel, is that it's not going to be a perfectly transferred image. And I'm okay with that. If you're okay with that, then you are my people. Wherever there's a heavily inked area like the ribbon, I'm giving that a little bit more time to get some heat on. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up. This is the fun part. This is the fun part. So it transferred really well. there's some vintage spotting there, but you don't really notice it that much. And I think the handmade plate looks kind of sweet. How easy was that? Now let's put together our tea table tablecloth.
Baby, don't know how to say it, but something in it drives me crazy. I know it shows, so tell me, when you lay alone in your bed, do you still dream of me? I think it shows.
The transferred artwork has a way of disguising and diverting the eye away from any nasty stains.
Every second without you, I'm losing it all. Let's make pancakes at midnight, drink wine, vibe on the city lights.
And I'm really going to try to salvage my favorite tablecloth that was given to me by Mom. And it's my lobster vintage tablecloth, which I adore, but it has so many old stains on it that I really haven't been using this. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's food stains here. There's a big food stain here. My approach for the lobster tablecloth is a little bit different because the stains are more pronounced, they're larger, and they're scattered everywhere. So this is dead center. Design dead center. So I thought, oh well, I kind of took the liberty of maybe dressing it up with a platter of lobster. I have some serving utensils that I could put a spoon here or fork here, something to cover up that stain. The other thought I had was embellishing here and there with, you know, some lemons, some citrus here and there, but I still want to go just with this black and white theme. When I was working on some other sample tablecloths, when I first ironed on the transfer, it intensified the stain. Maybe the heat reacted with the plastic, I don't know, but the stain was actually not even this dark. After a little trial and error, I found a solution. Use a fabric paint pen or fabric paint to sort of act as a primer that will contain the stain. Here the white fabric paint is nice and dry before I apply the heat transfer art. And you can hardly tell that the white paint is there. Here is the last image transfer I'm going to do. Right here you can kind of tell where I use the fabric paint, and there's just lots of food stains here, kind of right in the center of this tablecloth. So with my rudimentary drawing skills, I made a plate full of sardines or anchovies, and I'm going to transfer this image onto this area, probably at an angle. Yes, you can still see the white paint, but it's nicer to see that than a yellowing stain. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to see our lobster table in its full glory. I wanted to show you this one tip. I bought these plates a long time ago from Pottery Barn, and they're great when you're entertaining in a small space and it's kind of standing room only in the party, and you can grab all your food. You don't have to have a table to sit at, and you can carry your wine glass with you. I just love these. Here's our lobster tablecloth, all dressed up for the next Lobster Fest.
Some say I don't have time for it, baby. But some say I got too much on my mind. Some say I don't need what you give, baby. But I know I do.
Well, thanks so much for joining me here on Nutshell Living. I hope when you hit the flea markets that you're gonna look at table linens in a whole different way, because this is a great way of giving some of these beautifully, gently used linens another life, and I love doing that. I'll see you next time right here on Nutshell Living for more small space tips and tricks. Bye!